Come on, let's do it.
All right, gang, I'm out here on a rainy Monday because it's going down to 29 degrees tonight. It's just wrapping up the first week in November. What's today? I believe it's the 9th. It's a Monday. And it's going down to 29. This fig tree is done. None of these figs are going to ripen. I've got a bunch in the kitchen on the counter that have been ripening, but I don't want all this beautiful fruit going to waste, so we're going to collect it and then meet me back in the kitchen and I'll show you what I do with them every year. Come on, let's do it.
Come on, let's do it.
All right, here we go. Figs, unripe. This is too many unripe figs. Let me tell you what's been going on. I've been working on learning about pruning those trees, and you learn something every year. Basically, I over pruned it a little last year. It came back like gangbusters, but I pruned it so low to the ground. Also, this year was weird. I've told you about that. Tomatoes, everything. So it started fruiting way too late, hence all these unripened fruits. I mean, I got to enjoy plenty of ripe ones, but this should not be the end of the season, all right? I should be doing a small jar, and most of these should have been eaten with prosciutto, ricotta, you name it. So, but let me show you what I'm going to do with them now. Let's do a close-up. I'll show you what I'm up to. I'm about 2/3 of the way done. I'll finish up. So I soaked them all right off the tree overnight in water, and then I put them in the fridge. I drained them and put them in the fridge because I wasn't ready to do it yet. And now what I'm doing is I'm taking the stems off, and I'm just giving a little X cut at the top, kind of like what we do for the tomatoes when we want to skin them. But this is so that our solution, we're going to boil them, we're going to cook them, we're going to use some syrup, sugar and water, and we want it to get in and really preserve the entire inside of this fig. These are hard on the outside. These are not like the ripe ones, okay? So I'll finish them up, and then we'll bring them over to the stove and get them in a pot of water. See, in just a few. Just got 2 dozen left, it looks like. Okay, got a nice hard boil going here. So let's throw our figs in. Got them all topped off and X'd out. And we are going to boil them for 10 minutes. I'll put the timer on, and then next to them I got some cold water, and we are going to do this twice. Okay, so we're going to boil them for 10. Timer's on. Then we'll drop them in the cold water. And when they're cool enough to handle, we're going to give them a good squeeze. Basically, we're trying to get, I should have shown you the close-up when I was cutting them. Basically, I had to wash my hands. They got all sticky. There's a white, almost milky sap inside the fig, particularly before they get ripe. And it's real sticky. It took me a while to get it off my hands. In fact, if you look this fig jam or fig preserves, anything online, they usually tell you to wear gloves when you're cutting the figs. Of course I didn't, but it's real sticky sap. Anyway, 10 minutes, timer's on, we'll drop them in the cold, we'll squeeze, back in the boil, 10 minutes, cold, squeeze. See you in 10. All right, that's 10 minutes. Let's get these out. Cold water bath. Now this is less a matter of like when you blanch and you do cold water to try and stop the cooking process. We're going to boil these again, and then we're going to actually cook them in sugar. This is not about that. This is just to cool them down so we can squeeze them. Get some of that liquid out. Now, I mean, I suppose we could replace this water, but I'm not going to bother because it takes a while to bring it up to the boil. So I'm just going to put a cover on it, turn the heat down a little so we can crank it back up. I'll give these a minute to cool down. I'm going to turn the camera off. It may take more than a minute before I can handle them. And then we will cut myself off as I was talking there. I've had one finger going for the camera button, while I was chatting. Anyway, they're cool enough now, so I'm just squeezing them inside this water. And this water I am going to change, because obviously it's not cold anymore. Just giving these a good squeeze. Try and keep them whole. Some of them are breaking up, but it's going to be preserves anyway, so they don't have to be whole. It's actually probably better. I think I'm going to give them a good hard squeeze and let them break up. That'll give us those preserves. Okay, good squeeze on all of them. I'm going to strain these out. Oh, they're softening up nicely already. I've done this a couple seasons in a row, but not with this many. Let's get them back in here. Timer back on 10, and I will dump this water and refill with cold. All right. 10 more to go. Let me set the timer here. And I will see you back in 10. Okay, that's number 2. Buzzer went off. I was in the other room, so I already shut it. And by the way, as I stepped into the kitchen, now you can really start to smell them. Smelling like figs. Not quite ripe figs, but figs nonetheless. A little sugar water, a little lemon juice, a couple of cloves. These are fantastic. I'm going to have a couple of nice jars full too. Ice cream, desserts, you name it. Even just by themselves, they're great to snack on when you get that sweet tooth going. Okay, I think that's all of them. Just skirt around the bottom here. Yep, that'll do it. And let's see, that water was pretty cold. Let's see if I can get right in there. Yeah, not too bad. A little warm to the touch, but the water cools them right off. Give them a nice squeeze. Ooh, they are hot on the inside though, when you squeeze them out. Okay, I'll continue squeezing these out. I'm heading out. It is Wednesday evening. I'm heading out to play a few tunes at a local establishment. So normally what you would do is you would squeeze these out and then you would put them in the syrup and boil them up. But gotten this far, I think I can just drain these, put them in a bowl in the fridge. I wouldn't leave them in the liquid. Not a great idea. But once we get all that bitter stuff out, you know what? One of these is pretty soft. I do talk about quality control a lot, don't I? Yeah, it's nice and soft. It's chewy. It tastes like a fig, but it's not sweet. They were not on the plant long enough to develop sugars. That's why we're going to boil them in a sweet syrup. But they soften right up. These were hard as a rock off the plant. So I think they're going to be just dandy when we finish up. So just going to drain these out, put them in a bowl, and pop them in the fridge. I will see you all when we're ready to boil these up in the sweetener. See you then. Squeezed and drained into the fridge. We'll deal with them tomorrow. Okay, here we are. These have been in the fridge all night. Took them out, let them warm up a little bit, and I've got pot on with some water coming to a boil. I got about 1,000 to 1,100 ml of water in there, and I'm going to put in this entire bag of sugar, 907 grams. It's pretty sweet. It's going to be a pretty sugary water, but keep in mind these are unripe figs. Okay, we're not going to be drinking this liquid. So just to get the figs preserved, sweetened up. And the sugar water also acts as their preservative. They'll stay for weeks in the fridge once they're jarred up in sterile jars. So I'm going to bring this to the boil, drop in the figs, and boil them for about a half an hour. I'll be back as soon as it's boiling. Okay, we got the boil going here. Gonna put my figs in. Give them a little stir. And I'm just going to give them a little bit of flavor here. I'll put maybe just a cap full of this vanilla extract. Some whole cloves. I don't know, teaspoon or so. That looks, oh, the vanilla smells good. Yeah, about a teaspoon of cloves. And just because I have them in the pantry, put some of these star anise. I'll just put 1 or 2 of these. Let's see how they look, how big they are. They smell nice. I'm going to put 2 along with the cloves. Get another whole one here. There we go. Great underrated spice. Okay. Now I'm going to set the timer for a half hour, and I am just going to let these simmer. I'll put a cover on it, 30 minutes, get a cover. I'll leave a little for the steam to come out, and I'll turn it down maybe medium. I don't want that hard roll and boil, but I do want them to cook, and we'll check them out in a half hour. Okay, it's been a half hour. Let's see what we got here. Do a little QC. Take one of these. Well, first I'm going to start with a whole fig. See how soft they got and if they absorbed the sugar water. Get that clove out of there. They're hot. Now I'm going to take one of these smashed ones that's lying flat in the syrup, little piece here. Oh, okay. Just as I thought. The whole fig, I think I could have smashed them more when I was crushing them with my hands. The whole fig is much more delicate and much sweeter. I mean, the piece that I got than the whole fig. The whole fig still tastes a little green. I mean, it has absorbed a good amount of the sugar water, which, by the way, is not as sweet as I thought it was going to be based on the ratio of water to sugar. It's very pleasant, actually. It's not cloying at all. So what I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to leave it on another 15 or so. But I'm actually smashing them. These are what's called fig preserves. I'm not trying to, almost like a fig jam. So I'm not necessarily worried about them being whole to their shape. I want them to absorb the sugar water. So I'm actually smashing them like I do with the plum tomatoes. If I make a sauce and I put them in whole, just take the spoon, giving them a good smash against the side of the pot. And I am going to cover this again and give it 15-20. And while I'm doing that, I cleaned out a couple of jars here real well. But I'm going to put them in the oven at 350. Give them an extra little sterilization. And I don't even know if I need both. All these might fit in one. But I'm going to get 2 jars ready. Pop the cover back on this. Give it another 20, and then we'll give it a final taste. It's tasting real good now. Instead of just this against the side of the pot, I pulled out this big slotted spoon and I'm just going straight to the bottom of the pot. I'm giving these a real good smash because I want them to turn practically into a jam. But I do want the whole fig pieces. I mean, it's not like something that I would puree or anything by any means. I want pieces of fig in that thick syrupy liquid. So I'm giving them a good smash. And now pop the cover on. I'm going to turn it down now. Now they can just really simmer. And I'm going to put it on another half hour. And I'll see you then. I think that's going to do it. Okay, we're back. It's been a half hour. Turn the timer off. Turn the oven off. Let me get my jars out. I'll start with one. I don't know if I'm going to need both. Let's see. Put my canning funnel in there. Makes life a lot less messy. And let's... Oh yeah, I can just feel it with the spoon. They're much softer. Let's give one a taste. Okay. These are done. Take my jar here. It's quite hot. I don't want to get this sticky syrup all over my stove, so do it like this. Hold on. This jar is hot. Even the doubled up towel is. Yeah, I think I'm going to need both jars. Ooh, that is hot. Let me... Duh. That is hanging right over there. There we go. Now I can get right over here. Fill this beauty up. I'll leave a little headspace for the syrup, and I will do jar number 2. Let me shut the camera. This is a little bit of a mess, and they are hot. I'll do the second jar, and then we'll come back. Okay, 2 jars full. Let's push these down a little bit. Take the pot, and hopefully there's enough syrup to cover both of these. We'll find out. Oh yeah, there's number 1. Number 2. I think the syrup is going to work out just perfectly. Get this one covered. Now these jars just came out of the oven. They're real hot. You can't pour this into a cold jar. It would have cracked them. So now, just going to let these sit and cool. Cover them. Pop them in the fridge. There's a little piece in here. Let's give that a QC taste. Yeah, and they will continue to infuse the sugar water as they cool. So, just gonna let these cool down. I'll pop some covers on them, but not yet because they're too hot. I'll do this, and once they're cool enough, I'll put covers on them because I don't want to build up pressure inside them. And we'll cover them up, pop them in the fridge. Alrighty, what time is it? Oh, just after 6 p.m. on Saturday evening. The whole show is edited, but I realized I haven't done my tasting portion yet, and the reason is I was going to do it this morning with my oats. I soaked some oats, I put a little banana, the sweet figs on there. There's a bunch of things these are great for. But one of my all-time favorites, and I knew I was going shopping, so I said, let me wait. Here are the figs. So it's already been a couple of nights, right? When did we do these? It's Saturday. When are we doing? Wednesday? Thursday? I don't even remember anymore. But I spaced again. One thing I forgot when you do these, because I've done them in the past, is after we put them in, I poured the syrup in. You should add a little bit of lemon juice, just like a tablespoon. So I added a half a tablespoon to each jar. Okay, and one of my favorite things to do with these, it gives it that acid, right, that lemon zing, but I also think the acid is good for the preserving in the fridge. So I did add a little bit of lemon juice to each jar. One of my favorite things to do is as a little topping on an ice cream sundae, or just a little bit of ice cream. And so I stopped and got Haagen-Dazs vanilla bean, simple ice cream with our figs and a little fig syrup. Absolutely delicious, and I'm pretty pumped because I don't eat ice cream anymore. I don't buy it, because if I buy one of these, it's going down. It's going to be all I could do to not eat this tonight, but I'm going to save a bunch for tomorrow. So ice cream for me is a huge treat. Once, maybe twice a year at the most. So let's set up here. Put a little of this vanilla bean ice cream, a little bit of our fig syrup, and let's give it a go. Let's do it. I'm kind of bummed about Haagen-Dazs because they took the slogan off their container. We used to love saying it back in the 70s, 80s when I was younger. It used to say on every container, I still remember it, I have it memorized. Please temper to a soft consistency to achieve the full flavor bouquet, which I have done. You don't want it hard as a rock. All right, I think that's going to be enough. It's Saturday night. I still have a glass of Vino Rosso over there. I'm just taking a break for this. So a little Haagen-Dazs vanilla. I am going to go with a few chocolate nibs. I was going to do this like a banana split, but I don't have ripe bananas. I just bought some bananas, but they're a little green. Maybe some peanuts. Hold on. Just a touch of peanuts. And now the figs. And remember, I smashed them, so I got nice pieces. I think this is the way to go. Look. Instead of even the whole figs. They're all crushed up. Just put a few. They're sweet, but again, they're not cloyingly sweet. I'll go one more, since it's the star of the show. There's an almost whole one. And now, key, a little bit of that syrup. Okay, let's give this a try. Haagen-Dazs vanilla ice cream, a couple peanuts, chocolate nibs, milk chocolate, and our preserved green fig, unripe fig. Let me get one on there for the initial bite. Oh, they're so good. They're not too overly sweet. They are delicious, I gotta say. Two big quart jars full. Again, just making the best of them. Those should have been ripe on the tree. I have a whole new pruning tactic involved for next year, but the yield was unbelievable. I was just psyched how many figs were on that tree. Now I need to get it moving earlier, get them ripening earlier, and I'll be all set. But waste not, want not. This is a way to preserve them and utilize them. Absolutely fantastic. I'll see you all for the next episode.
Come on, let's do